Conquer the Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you've never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, August the 2nd, 2020. I want to thank everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. You can find the show at Catch, Hook, Shoot. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for all your bonus content, which unfortunately still is kind of under construction, so bear with me on that one. ProWrestlingTees.com/catchhookshoot for all your t-shirt needs, and the brand new web store, catchhookshoot.bigcartel.com. For additional merchandise that is not available on Pro Wrestling Tees, head over there and check that one out. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So let's dive right into everything going on this week. We got a big week of wrestling coming up. I'll get into that in a little bit, but for right now, we're going to start everything off with the match of the week. So this week's match of the week comes from NXT this past Wednesday, and it was a match between Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong. Arguably the two best in-ring performers that NXT has to offer right now. And I mean, these two guys just, exactly what you'd expect. They put on a fantastic match, and what more can be said about it? I mean, like I said, probably the top two in-ring talents in NXT, in my opinion. And so, like I always say, if you're only going to watch one wrestling match this week, make it Strong and Gargano from NXT from this past Wednesday. You will not be disappointed if you are a wrestling fan, and I'm talking in-ring, wrestling. You're going to like this one, so head over there and check that one out. So moving right along, trying to move through the show a little quickly today because there's a lot of stuff to get to, so let's jump right into the next segment, which of course is the 3 count. First up on the 3 count this week is Wrestle House. This was a new segment on Impact. We got a little kind of a preview of it last week. This week it was the first episode, I guess you'd call it, and it's kind of a kind of a mashup between like the Real World and Big Brother and the WWE Legends House, and it's really just kind of silly, stupid fun, and I know a lot of people were complaining about it, and you know what, I'm sorry you don't like fun if you were complaining about this, because I thought it was cool, it was entertaining. Tommy Dreamer is the host of it, and the people in the house are Rosemary, Taya Valkyrie, Johnny Bravo, Susie, Kylie Ray, the Deaners, Triple XL, Johnny Swinger, Crazy Steve, and Alicia Edwards. And just another reason to check out Impact. So if you I've said many times, if you haven't seen Impact in a while, give it another chance, because they are putting out some really good stuff right now, and Wrestle House is one of those things that they're putting out, so definitely give that a look. Number 2 on the 3 count from AEW Dynamite, MJF gave his State of the Business address, and basically the whole point of that was to challenge Jon Moxley for the AEW World Title coming up at All Out in September. So looks like that will probably be the main event, I would assume. And MJF number 1 contender, and I'm all in for this match. It's MJF, the top heel, not only in AEW, but the best heel in wrestling right now. And again, obviously that's just my opinion, but MJF, very very good on the microphone. Probably, again, one of the best in pro wrestling right now. So, if you haven't seen Dynamite from this past week, first of all, you really need to catch up on your wrestling from this past week. But Yeah, MJF's State of the Business address, just an awesome promo. And I think nicely set up the main event for All Out for MJF versus Jon Moxley for the World Championship. And number 3 on the 3 count, another promo, this one from NXT and done by Keith Lee. And again, an amazing promo from Keith Lee, talking about Karrion Kross and what he did to Dominik Dijakovic last week. And in the middle of the promo, we had Cameron Grimes come out and start talking his trash to Keith Lee, and Keith Lee just decimated him in a matter of seconds. But then we saw Scarlett come out on the walkway, and Karrion Kross on the big screen talking to Keith Lee, and again, just furthering this storyline with the two of them. And I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see Karrion Kross versus Keith Lee for the NXT title at the next NXT TakeOver. Now, William Regal did come on later in the show and said, he's not going to be bullied into making title matches. Title matches have to be earned and that kind of thing. So I'm sure somewhere in the next couple of weeks, we're going to see Karrion Kross have to do something to earn that title match, or Regal is just going to be pushed too far and just make the match, probably with some type of stipulation. So I'm really, really looking forward to that when Karrion Kross and Keith Lee. That's going to be a crazy, just hard-hitting match with those two guys in there. So let's get into the news and goings-on for this week, starting off with Monday Night Raw. We saw Randy Orton challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at SummerSlam. Now, that's been the rumor for a while that was going to be the title match, so looks like they're starting the build for that one. Also saw a confrontation between Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. That is a match I would like to see. Nia Jax gets so much hate online for her in-ring work, but honestly, I think her and Shayna would put on an impressive match, to say the least. Then we saw Andrade and Garza defeat Ricochet and Cedric Alexander and the Viking Raiders to gain the number 1 contender slot for the Raw Tag Team title, so they get a match with the Street Profits at SummerSlam. And we saw another segment with Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy pretty much just beating down Dominic Mysterio. Dominic came out to the ring, attacked Seth during Seth's promo, and in the process of this going on, Aleister Black came down to make the save, and he ended up getting his eye shoved into the ring steps, kind of like what was done to Rey Mysterio. Now, according to the reports, this was done to write Aleister off of TV. And the reason for that was kind of, wasn't 100% clear. Some people said it's because Vince McMahon is not a fan of Aleister Black and just wasn't interested in having him involved in that storyline anymore. But then another report came out, said that Vince is a very big fan of Aleister Black and thinks that perhaps his character could be a little bit limiting for him, so they want to repackage him a little bit. Now, I'm hoping it's more the second story. That's the truth. I'm also hoping they don't tweak his character too much. I mean, a little bit of refining, something like that, that's fine. I don't want to see Aleister Black come back as a completely different character, because the character he has works for him. So if they want to tweak it, refine it, something like that, I can definitely get behind that. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when Aleister Black does finally come back. Then we also saw Sasha Banks defeat Asuka by countout. So Sasha Banks now officially the Raw Women's Champion, and basically Asuka left the ring because Kairi Sane in the back was getting attacked by Bayley, and Sasha went to make the save. And this was, of course, Kairi Sane's final appearance as a WWE superstar on TV. I think I reported last week that she is going back to Japan. She will still be working with WWE as an ambassador, but as far as her WWE in-ring career, looks like that has come to an end, unfortunately. Kairi Sane, just an amazing superstar in the women's division. And we also saw the rematch between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. And this was another Extreme Rules match. That was the stipulation set down by Drew McIntyre, and so this time McIntyre could take advantage of the Extreme Rules, which he could not by Ziggler's stipulations at the pay-per-view Extreme Rules. Was not a title match, though. It originally was advertised as a title match, but then when it came down to it, it was a non-title match. McIntyre was victorious in that one, and right at the end of the show after that match, we saw Orton come in and hit McIntyre with an RKO out of nowhere. Moving on to NXT in a women's tag team match, Io Shirai and Tegan Nox defeated Dakota Kai and Candice LeRae. Dakota Kai just kind of walked out on LeRae at the end of the match, so not a whole lot of continuity there. Saw Mercedes Martinez make her debut, I guess, as an official member of the Robert Stone brand. She picked up a victory over Shotzi Blackheart in pretty convincing fashion. We also saw a vignette of Ridge Holland from NXT UK. Apparently he is going to be making his NXT US debut next week, so I'm looking forward to that one. And talking about NXT UK, we saw Imperium for the first time in a little while, and they are the NXT Tag Team Champions. They picked up a victory over Everrise, and the story on that one, though, is Undisputed Era at the end of that match came out and just put a beating on Imperium, just kind of reasserting their dominance in NXT. And it looks like Undisputed Era's got a little bit of a chip on their shoulder since they don't have any gold anymore. So I'm liking the direction that they're going. Undisputed Era's been on a little bit of a losing streak, and it was all 4 members of Undisputed Era. Kyle O'Reilly was back with them on TV, so that's good to see. So I'm looking forward to where they're going to go with Undisputed Era from here. We saw Isaiah Swerve Scott pick up a win over Jake Atlas, and Dexter Lumis advances to the North American Championship ladder match at the next TakeOver event. He defeated Timothy Thatcher and Finn Balor. So kind of a surprise. I mean, Lumis definitely deserving of that opportunity, but the last 2 weeks, these triple threat matches, we've seen victories by Bronson Reed and now Dexter Lumis over guys that you might not have expected them to pick up the wins over. So this ladder match is looking interesting so far. I guess it's going to be a 5-person ladder match, and the first 2 entrants are Dexter Lumis and Bronson Reed. So I can't wait to see who else is going to be a part of that. And moving on to Smackdown, AJ Styles retained the Intercontinental title against Grand Metalik. We saw a segment in the back with Baron Corbin and Shorty G, and with Corbin almost trying to recruit Shorty G to cash in on that King's ransom that he put on Matt Riddle, trying to talk him up, calling him Chad instead of Shorty and things like that. And apparently it worked, because Corbin did win his match against Drew Gulak. Matt Riddle came out and attacked after that, and Chad Gable is the one who made the save for Corbin. So looks like Chad Gable is going to be a heel going forward, which I'm good with that. I just hope they go back to using his actual name, because Shorty G just doesn't work for me. I don't think it works for a lot of people. So we'll have to see if Gable's going to be permanently associated with King Corbin, or how that's going to work. We saw a backstage segment with Sheamus basically saying Jeff Hardy isn't his problem anymore after Sheamus took the loss last week in that bar fight. So now Sheamus says he is the problem for the rest of the SmackDown locker room, and it looks like Sheamus might be going with a little bit of a new look. Well, no, not a little bit of a new look, but last week in the bar fight, he was obviously wearing street clothes, and had the same outfit this week during the interview segment, kind of the Irish hooligan look, if you will, the white tank top type undershirt and suspenders and the hat, and yeah. So I'm wondering if that's going to be kind of a permanent new look for Sheamus now. We'll have to wait and see whenever his next match is. Naomi finally picked up a victory over Lacey Evans, so I know that will make a lot of people happy, because Naomi, I'm sure everybody's seen by now the kind of movement that started online. Naomi deserves better, and I would tend to agree. Naomi in the women's division, probably the best pure athlete that they have in the women's division in WWE. Excuse me. And So, it's good to see her back on TV and in the mix. Hopefully, we'll see her somewhere in the title picture sometime soon. And sticking to the women's division for a little bit, we saw Sonya Deville attack Mandy Rose backstage and cut Mandy's hair. A little bit of a surprise there. Was about to go after her with the clippers and shave her bald or something like that when the referees stepped in and stopped her. So I guess we're going to be seeing Mandy Rose with a new hairstyle next week. So we'll have to see how that works out. And finally, the main event, Bayley retained the Smackdown Women's title against Nikki Cross in a rematch from Extreme Rules. And Nikki Cross, very frustrated at the end of this match, actually shoved Alexa Bliss down when Alexa was trying to help her, help her to her feet and things like that. And then, Nikki left the ring, left Alexa kind of sitting there in the middle of the ring by herself, and at that point the Fiend made an appearance and attacked Alexa with the mandible claw. Now that's obviously a message to Braun Strowman. Alexa, of course, Strowman's tag team partner in the Mixed Match Challenge a couple years ago, referred to themselves as Team Little Big and that kind of thing, and Alexa again made an appearance during that swamp fight at Extreme Rules. So they are working Alexa into this Fiend Braun Strowman storyline. I'm curious to see where they're going to go with that. Is Alexa going to end up somehow associated with the Fiend and Bray Wyatt, or what's going to happen with that? On AEW, we had lost my place here. Started off with a 10-man tag team match. Jurassic Express, the Best Friends, and Orange Cassidy taking on the Inner Circle, and Jurassic Express, Best Friends, and Orange Cassidy were victorious in that one. And we also saw the AEW debut of Warhorse taking on Cody Rhodes in a TNT Championship match. Great match between these two guys. Warhorse put on a great showing on his national TV debut. Fantastic match. Definitely go check that one out as well if you haven't yet. And then at the end of the match, Cody did retain the championship, and the Dark Order attacked. Warhorse tried to help him out, pushed Cody out of the way, tried to take the fight to the Dark Order. He was overpowered a little bit, and then we saw the debut of Matt Cardona, the former Zack Ryder from WWE from his WWE days, if I can speak here, and comes out and makes the save. So Matt Cardona now part of AEW. We saw the signing of FTR's AEW contracts, and interestingly enough, Arn Anderson was there with them during that signing. So, is Arn going to be the manager for FTR? I think that would be a great fit, and that would kind of associate them with Cody. Not kind of, it would associate them with Cody, and that kind of leans towards the rumored Four Horsemen type faction that has been talked about for AEW. So the only piece missing from that right now is Shawn Spears, who of course is managed by Tully Blanchard. So we'll have to see if Spears somehow becomes associated with FTR and Cody Rhodes over the next couple of weeks here. And we also saw Kenny Omega and Hangman Page pick up a win over the Dark Order in a tag team title defense. And the Creepers, of course, from the Dark Order made their presence known and attacked the Elite after the match. And FTR came out to make the save, interestingly enough. Saw a really good women's match between AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida and Diamante. Shida did pick up the victory in that one. The more information was given about the Deadly Draw tournament for the women that is going to be coming up. It's actually going to be starting on AEW Dark this week, from what they were saying, and it is very similar to the Lethal Lottery for those of you that remember from the WCW days. But in this case, each woman in the tournament chooses a colored look like a poker chip out of a container, and whoever matches that color, that's your partner. And we found out the first team is Nyla Rose is going to be teaming with Ariane, the former Cameron from WWE, made her first appearance this week. So, and a lot of people kind of rolled their eyes at that, and took issue with it. I mean, I don't really see the problem. Was she the greatest in-ring competitor WWE had in their women's division? No, but she's also been away from the business for a couple of years. You don't know how much training she's done in that time. She could be, absolutely fantastic in the ring by now, and I'm willing to give her that chance. I'm not going to just say, oh God, why her, like so many people did. It's good to see her back on TV. It's good to see so many wrestlers getting opportunities that that AEW can give to them. So I'm all for it. I can't wait to see what she can do in the ring now. I already talked about MJF challenging Moxley for All Out. And then we saw a tag team match for the main event. Jon Moxley and Darby Allin teaming up to take on Cage and Ricky Starks. And again, another really good tag team match. Moxley and Darby Allin did pick up the victory when Darby hit Starks in the back with his thumbtack skateboard, and that was just a nasty spot. We've seen Darby Allin come off the top rope with that thumbtack skateboard before, and just kind of plant it in the person's back. And usually he just kind of, jumps with the board, stomps it into their back, and, it's kind of just like a double stomp, basically. Well, this time I don't know if he didn't hit quite square the way he wanted to, or if it was intentional, but when he hit Starks in the back with the skateboard, it scraped across Ricky Starks' back and just left some nasty looking gashes across Starks' back. It was definitely a difficult spot to watch, but it was effective to say the least. So Mox and Darby did pick up that victory, and apparently next week we are going to see Mox versus Darby in an AEW championship match. So that should be I'm making a prediction right now that will probably be the match of the week. Moving on to Impact, Eddie Edwards retained the Impact World Championship against Trey Miguel. Eddie has said he's going to be defending that title every week on TV, so that's, I'm curious to see who his next opponent's going to be. Deonna Purrazzo defeated Kimber Lee, and we saw Jordynne Grace come out at the end of that one and put a beat down on Deonna. And Jordan still nursing a shoulder injury, but she pulled her arm out of the sling and just went to town on Deonna Purrazzo. So there's definitely some unfinished business between Jordynne Grace and Deonna Purrazzo. Next week we found out Moose will be defending the TNA World Championship, not the Impact World Championship, the TNA World Championship against Heath Slater, Heath Miller, Heath, whatever he's going by now. So Scott D'Amore told Heath in the back when the match was made official that if Heath picks up the victory, he gets an Impact contract. The story with Heath right now is that he's a free agent and he's just kind of showing up on Impact. But obviously he's on TV, he's signed, he works for Impact. But that's the storyline. If Heath wins the TNA Championship from Moose, he will be signed to an Impact contract. And it looks like we've got a new rivalry starting up between Sami Callihan and Rob Van Dam. We saw a little bit of a confrontation in the back between Sami and Katie Forbes, and Sami kind of hacked Katie Forbes' website. It looked like Katie Forbes and RVD went out to the ring to show off her new pictures from her website and things like that, and Sami Callihan had hacked it and photoshopped his face onto Katie's body on those pictures. So looks like that's going to be a rivalry going forward, which I'm all here for that one. And in the main event, the Good Brothers picked up their first official Impact victory over Reno Scum, just furthering their rivalry with Ace Austin, because obviously Reno Scum part of Ace Austin's group along with Madman Fulton. So the Good Brothers off to a very good start in Impact. So that's going to do it for news and rumors for this week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with your Indie Cut. There was quite a lot of wrestling action this week and some news, so let's begin with July 24th and Wrestle Rampage Re-Emerging 2020 from Adelaide, South Australia. So nice to see Australia back on the map. With the Renegades of Greg Graham and Will Gibson defeating Corndog and Tommy Knight. And their Australian National Title Hardcore match. Champion Rat Daddy defeated Havoc. Back in the States, Titan Championship Wrestling Goddesses of War in Ocean Gate, New Jersey. Hala Dead defeated Gabby Ortiz. In their Goddess #1 contendership match, Christina Marie defeated Korean Mink. And in the Goddesses title match, champion Notorious Mimi defeated Vicious Vicky. Then we go to Pro Wrestling All-Stars of Detroit, Reset the System, in Melvindale, Michigan, with Percy Drews and Peter B. Beautiful defeating Frank Isaac Anderson and Shaggy. And their Cruiser Core title three-way vacant match, Tanner Nix defeated Caleb Stills and Mysterious Movado to become new champion. For their vacant junior heavyweight title, four-way elimination match, Jay Maynard defeated Daniel Wolf, Joseph Schwartz, and TJ Miter to become new champion. For the vacant tag team titles, Percy Drews and Peter B. Beautiful defeated the Grey Wolves of Jarvis Gray and Jimmy Gray. And the heavyweight title match, Chris Stein defeated Atlas Hightower to become a new champion. For Pro South Wrestling in Piedmont, Alabama, their New Era title match of Ricky Cagle, champion, defeated Scott Patterson. Then in the All Out title match, champion Damian Seratone defeated William Huckabee. In Body Progressive Wrestling, Sparta in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. For their Oklahoma title match, Derek James defeated champion Alex Royal to become the champion. And their tag team Tornado Rules match, Mike Starr and Sam Stackhouse defeated champions Kilbane and Thrash to become new champions. And their Lionheart title Three Stages of Hell match, Ethan Cole defeated champion Tommy Dean to become new champion as well. July 25th, Wrestling for a Cause, Freedom Rings Rumble Show 2020 in Wagner, Oklahoma. Tag team title 2-on-1 handicap match, Brawler Morrison and Thrash defeated champion Tommy Dean to become champions. And their Hometown Heroes title match, John Cross defeated champion Luke Langley to become new champion. In the Freedom Rings Rumble match, Tim Rockwell won. And then he went on for the Hometown Heroes title match to defeat champion John Cross to become champion there as well. There was a Titan Championship Wrestling Rise of the Titans show in Ocean Gate, New Jersey. Then still in New Jersey for Synergy Pro Wrestling Garden State Invitational in Hillsborough Township, New Jersey on Fight TV. For the Garden Tournament first round matches, KTB defeated Simon Grimm, Tony Deppen defeated Gregory Iron, Jordan Oliver defeated Myron Reed, Anthony Green defeated Gary J. For their Synergy Cruiserweight Crown title, for the vacant crown, TJ Crawford defeated Ellis Taylor and Casey Cattell to become new Cruiserweight crown wearer. In the Garden State semifinals, it was Tony Deppen defeating KTB. Jordan Oliver defeated Anthony Green. For the Synergy title, their champion Frightmare defeated Deshaun Pratt. And in the tournament final match, Tony Deppen defeated Jordan Oliver with his Yes Lock. His version of the Yes Lock, my bad. Then to Metroplex Wrestling, Fight, Win, Survive Day 1 in Bedford, Texas. They had a bull rope match, a Lego match with Johnny O'Mara defeating Zero the Anti-Hero. Love to see that match. And for the MPX Prospects title, champion Mr. Legs defeated Tommy Becker. There was a Capital Pro Wrestling show in Lansing, Michigan. A Coastal Championship Wrestling Lucha Mania in Nashville, Tennessee. That's right, Lucha is in Nashville, folks. With Vinicius, with Bill Alfonso in his corner, Mr. Bill, right behind me. He defeated Eric Marinacci, or Marinaka, in a tag team match. Pablo Marquez teamed with Super Crazy, of all people, to defeat Benny Blanco and Chris Nelms. In a hardcore open challenge match, Alex Ocean defeated Jackal. We move down to I Believe in Wrestling, Believe 205 in Winter Park, Florida. Nice play on words there, Believe. For the SCW Florida Heavyweight title, champion Dion James defeated Rip Ruiz. Then my favorite show, Game Changer Wrestling, Homecoming Weekend Day 1 in Atlantic City, New Jersey, on the Garden Pier, on Fight TV. Yes, they fought on a pier with a beautiful backdrop of the ocean. And the pier actually played into some of these matches, as you can tell. I was interested in this show because a lot of these names you will be hearing and seeing at Warrior Wrestling Friday Night Lights coming up on the 7th. So we start with a 6-way scramble. Calvin Tankman defeated Alley Cat Benjamin Carter of Warrior Wrestling, Jimmy Lloyd, Lee Moriarty, and Matthew Justice. Tankman hit a jumping pile driver on Carter to win. Very cool match to start the show. Then we go to ACH defeating Trey Lamar of Warrior Wrestling. ACH played around a little bit too much in this match, so I really didn't get into it, which sucks because I want to see how Trey actually performed against him. Then, in a very good match, Chris Dickinson defeated Mance Warner. Hard-fought win. Chris won with a brainbuster. Then one of my favorites, Blake Christian, defeated Alex Zane in a wildly intense match. I can only guess how well they're going to perform at Warrior Wrestling because these two put on a show. Then in a death match, Alex Clone defeated AJ Gray. Drew Stay Brutal match. Gray almost won a few times, but he did get the respect of Cologne, so that's always helpful. Effie defeated Spider Nate Webb with a Dragon Sleeper. Then they had Slack defeating Nick Gage. Slack won with a lot of help from the Ohio boys of 44OH. You know he does not want their help, so they just don't like Gage, so that's why they helped. Then in what was a very interesting match, it was for the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metal title match of Joey Janela defeating Yoshihiko, which is a doll of all things. Yes, DDT loves his dolls, and they became champion and sent Yoshihiko to the States to face Janela. This is the second time holding the title. Janela took some wild bumps, as he can only do. Entertaining match as Janela was doing a thank you promo to Yoshihiko and all of DDT. The handler came in to attack Janela. The handler of Yoshihiko turned out to be none other than Leo Rush, who then landed a Spanish fly and a giant frog splash for all to see. Nice to see Leo back in the ring. I'll get into that a little bit later on. Then in the GCW World Title match, champion Ricky Shane Page, with his 44OH boys of Atticus Kogar, Eddie Only, and Eric Ryan, defeated Homicide. Pretty intense match. 44OH kept interfering, so the match was kind of blah to me. Ricky Shane Page was tamping out at one point, but the ref was distracted. So then Page won with his choke breaker and rolling elbow. After the match, Gage demanded a title shot. So Page said yes, only for it to be Gage's career for his title shot with Gage's crew versus Page's crew. So we'll see how that turns out later on. We go back over to Tokyo, and Stardom exploded in summer with an attendance of 264. Yes, the GCW show did have fans in attendance, all socially distanced with masks on. Very nice to see. Safety concerns and all, especially with Warrior coming up. It can be done, folks. Wear your mask if you can, please. Get back to Stardom. Riho teamed with Utami Hayashita to defeat Natsu Sumire and Saki Kashima in a very good match. And in the future of Stardom, three-way match for the vacant title. Maki defeated Shaya Linda and Saya Kimatani to become new champion. Nice match as well. In the Wonder of Stardom tournament, first round matches, Julia defeated Konami, and Tam Nakano defeated Natsuko Toro. You can check out a couple of those matches on DJ Ancy's Twitch channel, which thank you for the shout out. I appreciate it. I'm glad you liked the show. We had new Ice Ribbon 1054, attendance 418. Nothing of consequence there. Then New Japan had their Sengoku Lord in Nagoya 2020 with an attendance of either 200 or 2200. Not really sure, but they're all masked, and nice to see New Japan putting on a somewhat big show. We had all the way down to Hamilton, New Zealand, of all places, for Heathen Combat. It was going to be mayhem. Yeah, with the Maniacs United Jackson Shield title triple threat match. Champion Vic Craig defeated Cam Owens and Matty Short, and won above all title match. Champion Bryant defeated Will Stone. We head back up to All Japan Summer Action Series Day 3 with an attendance of 494. The All Asia Tag Team title number one contender, Izanagi and Zeus teamed up to defeat Kai and Tajiri, as well as Shigo Tachibana and Yoshitatsu. For the All Japan World Junior Heavyweight title, Koji Iwamoto defeated champion Susumu Yokoshika to become new champion. To July 26th, 0-1, we're not going to lose the Corona. Tenka Ichi Junior Tournament Day 5, attendance 109. Masato Tanaka teamed with Takuyu Sugura to defeat Genshiko Tanaka and Sugi. In the semifinal matches, it was Soku Kutamura to defeating Raicho, and El Lindemann defeating Hub. Suzaki Wave Fuji 4. They had an attendance of 100. There was a secret base sail off for the next decade show in Japan with an attendance of 88. Seedling Yoshiko Produce, attendance 125, where Aja Kong teamed with Asuka and Saki Aki to defeat Amy Sasumura, Hiro Matsumoto, and Yoshigo. Pure J fight together, attendance 100. In their open title match, Leon defeated Haneko Nakamura, who was champion, and Leon became new champion. Noah stayed together forever, day 2, attendance 487. In their junior heavyweight tag title match, Hayata and Yoshinara Ogawa, who are champions, defeated Daisuke Harada and Tozetsu Tadatsuke. Yeah, I got that one right. And the junior heavyweight title match, Kotaro Suzuki, who's champion, defeated Yohei. Sorry, Yohei. Go to Dove Pro Basra, day 2, attendance 130. In their Heaven Summit Itadaki semifinal matches, Naki Tanazaki defeated Takumi Tsukamoto, and Ryoto Nakasu defeated Kenshin Sukano. So in the finals, it was Hiroto Nakatsu defeating Naiko Tanizaki. Go over to 2AW with an attendance of 70. Then to New Japan Summer Struggle Day 1, 482. Day 1 started all the matches that seemed alike for the next 4 days, so don't need to get into those. There was a Horror Slam Undisputed Undeniable Undisclosed Location 9 show in Trenton, Michigan. There was a All-Star Pro in Bethany, Oklahoma. Then there was Beyond 2 weeks notice in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Back on the Garden Pure. My fault last week. I thought this was Black Label Pro, but it turned out to be Beyond. The show was on independentwrestling.tv. It was a quick 2-hour show. In a dark match, Slade defeated Benjamin Carter. Alley Cat defeated Max Caster. Injustice teamed up for Jordan Oliver and Myron Reed to defeat Bear Country of Bear Boulder and Bear Bronson. Nice to see them back in action. This was pretty much an upset with the size of Bear Country, but the speed of Injustice prevailed. Wheeler Yuta defeated Lee Moriarty with his upside down clover leaf in tombstone position. Willow Nightingale defeated Pinky Sanchez. In a fun match, Kristen Castanova defeated Blake Christian. It was a good match for what little I did see of it due to streaming issues. Then there was a tag match of Chris Dickinson, Nick Gage, and Tony Deppen defeating the one called Manders, Mance Warner, and Matthew Justice. Nick Gage did get hurt in this match, either his right ankle or knee. He was eventually taken to the hospital after he finally did tag out of the match. So yes, he did wrestle on the hurt body part, whatever it was. Deppen pinned Manders. I missed how this happened because it was just a kind of a wild match. And another note, Matthew Justice wrestled with a busted face from the day before's wrestling action. So kudos to Matthew for just trying to wrestle that day. Then it was in the main event for the IWTV Independent Wrestling title of Warhorse, who's champion, our favorite champion. In his 309-day reign and 38th defense, defeated Ricky Shane Page and his 440 boys by DQ. There was just too much interference from the 440, knocking out referee Chris Levin and tossing out another referee. Warhorse did fight out of this during this match of 2 choke breakers of all things, so kudos to him. He got help from Alley Cat and Effie, who are his friends, after the match was finally stopped. Now, one of the guys from 400 did try to bust open Warhorse with a fork after the match. Pretty shady. I don't think he got it done. I just think he was jealous of Warhorse's opportunity in AEW. So I'm glad he was not busted open. Then to GCW Homecoming Day number 2. Back on the pier on Fight TV. First match was Lee Moriarty defeating Tony Deppen in a nice match. Tony was going for a monkey flip, only for Lee to roll into it for the win. Nice reversal. I have never really seen that before. In an 8-man tag match, the one called Manders, Effie, Mance Warner, and Matthew Justice. And Matthew Justice wrestled again that day. They defeated Benjamin Carter, Facade, Logan Stunt, and Pinky Sanchez. The one called Manders won with a big moonsault on Facade. So nice to see a few of the Warrior Wrestling people in this match as well. Next up was ACH defeating KTB. It was a good match. He won with a brainbuster. Then this match got me. It was a death match. Alex Colon defeating the Rascals, Zachary Wentz. Now, if you meet Wentz at Warrior Wrestling, please be kind. He really got busted up in this. Front and back was just busted all over because he went through a plate glass door and doors wrapped in barbed wire. Also, light tubes were abundant during the action, so he might not look the same to you when you meet him on the 7th. And then in one of my favorite matches, six-way scramble, of course, Blake Christian defeated Alex Zane, Jimmy Lloyd, Jordan Oliver, and Myron Reed, and Trey Lamar. So, 3 of the guys we'll see at Warrior were in this match. This was wild, flying all over the place. Blake hit his Aaliyah on Oliver for the win. I can only imagine how we're going to call it, but we will do our best. There was Chris Dickinson defeating Calvin Tankman in a good Hoss match, missed ending due to streaming problems. Then Joey Janela took on Leo Rush quickly the next day in what was said to be Leo's last match in wrestling. We'll see about that, obviously, because this is wrestling. Early on, Leo landed a frog splash through the door on Joey, over the door onto Joey. A lot of doors involved in this match. The match went outside, and Joey did an elbow drop on Leo from a pillar, of all things. I'm not sure how high this was, but about the size of a roof. He landed through Leo onto 4 doors, which hopefully protected him some. Joey won with a low super kick to the head, and a very good match. At the end, Joey and Leo thanked the crowd and each other. A very heartfelt speech. Leo didn't say retirement, but he has other things going on, and I hope he does well in his future endeavors, you might say. Then in the main event, which I really did not know if it was going to take place or not, Slack took on the 440H boys of Atticus Kogar, Eddie Only, Eric Ryan, Gregory Iron, and Ricky Shane Page. This match took place because after the fact they threw out Alley Cat and Nate Webb, who was supposed to have a match, but it was getting dark. So Slack took on all 4 of the guys for most of the match, but he got help from AJ Gray, Alex Colon, and then at the end, Nick Gage, of all things, came from his hospital room limping to get the pin on Eddie Only, I believe, to get his title shot. Not sure when that will take place, but I will let you guys know. Then we move to July 27th and Suplex Pro Wrestling. Suplex Exhibition 3, the Tyler Gunn Appreciation Night from Newcastle, South Wales, of all places. This is on YouTube, so go check it out if you can. That's Suplex Pro Wrestling. They had a junior heavyweight title match with champion JB Hazard defeating Craven and Tyler Gunn, who then went quickly into an I Quit match where JB Hazard defeated Matthias Clock. New Japan had their Day 2 match show with attendance of 482. July 28th, Tokyo Pro Summer continued with an attendance of 110, where the Up girls finally tagged in there as a threesome with Akari Noah, Miyu Watanabe, and Raku defeating the Magical Sugar Rabbits of Mizuki and Yuko Sakazaki, teaming with Suzumi in a very nice match. You catch that on DJ's show. Then we head all the way back down to Ohio Valley Wrestling, of all places, for their TV number 1094 in Jeffersonville, Indiana. Big Zo and Cash Flow defeated AJ Daniels and Damone Salavino. And the OVW Rush title, Corey Storm defeated champion Nick Dimes by DQ. So no title change there. July 29th, Total Triumph Team Scramble 5 with an attendance of 100. The Strong Hearts of El Lindemann and T-Hawk defeated Ikoru Takazawa and Fuminaro Nari Abe. Down to DDT Gambara Pro Killer Queen 2020 with an attendance of 101. They had to get one more person in there. For the Independent World Junior Heavyweight title match, Hagan Sonoy defeated champion Keisuke Ishii to become new champion. New Japan Day 3, Summer Struggle, with an attendance of 599, so they got a little bit more people in there. July 30th, Noah Sanctuary, Go Shiozaki team with Katsuhiko Nakajima to defeat Heio and Neo. And then the Kushi Pro 12th Anniversary Show on YouTube, so you can check it out if you want. They had a tag team three-way match, a pro title match, with Genki defeating champion Yushi Hino to become new champion. July 31st, DDT Beer Garden like Pro Wrestling 2020 Day 1 with an attendance of 192. Later that day, they had Beer Garden Day 2, attendance of 175. There was a 5-way loser punishment match. I won't get into that because I hope to see it on DJ Anshi's Twitch stream, so you can watch for yourself. Then Noah had a show of Congo Produce Diamond 2. New Japan had Summer Struggle Day 4, 480 with a attendance of 482. The main event was finally different, with Minoru Suzuki defeating Yuji Nagata. Then the IW back in the States, IWA Mid-South King of the Death Matches Day 1 in Connersville, Indiana. The IWA Mid-South Heavyweight title, Jake Chris defeated champion Ace Perry and Kevin Giza to become new champion. The rest of the show was just madness, so check it out at your leisure. Then to earlier today, Ice Ribbon, new Ice Ribbon 1055 with an attendance of 50. Oh, 50, that's not good. Wrestling in Japan had a freelance show for Keiki no Fuchiyoshi with an attendance of 119. DDT had their Day 3 Beer Garden show with a 3-way crocodile death match and a rock and roll death match, 4-way match. So who knows how that match went. Big Japan had an attendance of 45 with Daisuke Sakamoto defeating Yui Oke. And then they had another show with an attendance of 81 for the Big Japan Junior Heavyweight title Next Challenger tournament. Shinobi defeated Fuminaro Abe, and Kazuki Hashimoto defeated Kaji Tomato. Then finally, in some wrestling news, earlier this year, DDT Pro's parent company Cyber Agent purchased Pro Wrestling Noah. The move put these two promotions and Tokiyoshi Pro and Gon Pro in the digital advertising company's portfolio. The four brands will remain distinct, but will now all operate as one promotion called Cyberfight. The reason for the merging, as Cyberfight streamlined costs in the wake of COVID-19. Cyberfight takes effect September 1st. So we will see how that changes things. Then some independent news. I'd like to talk about Mission Pro Wrestling, run by Mel Cervantes and her husband, better known to wrestling fans as Thunder Rosa. And it is an all-woman promotion with just about all the staff as women as well. They have set up their second show set for pay-per-view, Hell Hath No Fury, for September 18th, 2020 in Buda, Texas, on the Title Match Wrestling Network. Thunder Rosa will actually defend her NWA World Women's Championship against Lindsay Snow. Other talents set to perform are Alex Garcia, Avery Taylor, Big Swole of AEW, La Rosa Negra, Maddie Winkowski, Baby D, Holidead, Sky Blue, Jenna Van Muscles, Roxy, Rachel Rose, Lizzie Thorne, Alabama, The Insidious One, Alejandra the Lion, Vert Vixen, Elena Black, alright Elena, Promise Braxton, and Jenna Lynn. So I will check it out if I can, and hope you can too, to help support an all-women's promotion here in the States, run by Class Act and Thunder Rosa. Finally, when did Smackdown turn into Saturday Night Main Event? With the promo starting off the show, I thought it was a nice touch. See how long that can last. I would promote GCW Keep in Touch on August 2nd. Some more Warrior Wrestling fans might catch some of these names with the scramble of Alex Zane, Jordan Oliver, Ace Austin, Jimmy Lloyd, Shane Mercer, and Isaiah Velasquez. And then Kylie Ray makes her GCW debut against Cole Radrick. Others on the show are Joey Janela, Chris Dickinson, Mance Warner, Calvin Tankman, Blake Christian versus Trey Lamar. So I can't wait to see this show. If you catch our podcast sooner, hopefully you can too. Sorry, no Lucha Underground with all the wrestling action, hockey back in action, baseball and basketball. A little hard to catch that, so I'm sorry. Lucha Underground will return soon, as long as these independent shows kind of lean out and I can do it. I will. So that's a wrap for me. Till next time with the GCW recap. If Tom doesn't recap Talkin' Chopomania, I will do so as well. So that should be a fun show to cover. With any other indie news or shows that come about, don't forget to look at those Twitch streams, YouTube channels, and other wrestling content. And don't forget our live podcast from Warrior Wrestling, Friday Night Lights on August 7th at 8 p.m. Central Time. I know I am excited, and I hope you are too. Thank you, DJ Ansi and WrestleCast Radio, for the shout-outs. Much appreciated. Go buy my shirt. Thank you for watching, listening. Hope you enjoyed the cut. Stay safe, take care, and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Sam.
All right, thank you, Charlie, as always, for your contributions with the indie cut to the show here, and let's keep rolling right along into our next segment, highlighting somebody who's brought an air of positivity to the internet wrestling community, and I'm talking about the Fan of the Week. So the Fan of the Week this week is Ashley Rose Nova. You guys probably heard her on the show a couple months back. I had her on as a guest, and she's just, in addition to just being an all-around awesome human being, she is just a wrestling super fan, so much so that, she turned it into a business, starting her own pro wrestling magazine in Indie Empire and PW Empire. And, I wanted to highlight her because she recently posted online that she's going to be getting out of wrestling journalism, which I personally am sad about, because she is very good at what she does. But if it's that time for her, it's that time for her. And I told her myself, whatever she chooses to do, she's going to be successful at, just because she's one to. She does pretty much whatever she sets her mind to. And again, she's an awesome person. I've had the pleasure of meeting her in person, talking to her on the show, like I said before, and so I wanted to highlight her as this week's Fan of the Week. And again, that is Ashley Rose Nova, wrestling journalist, model, and just all around cool person. So that is the Fan of the Week. So let's move on right now to the next segment, where I espouse a bit of an unpopular opinion, and I'm very certain some people are not going to like this one, but I am talking about the weekly hot take. This week's weekly hot take is this: WWE needs Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar back on TV. Because they, like it or not, like them or not, those three guys, they bring in the casual fans. I honestly think that is why WWE's ratings have been dipping as low as they have lately, because they're not getting those casual fans. They're the people who only watch for certain wrestlers. And Roman, Cena, and Lesnar are the ones that bring them in. They're the ones that have that, I guess, household name recognition. Like, pretty much everybody knows who Brock Lesnar is, knows who John Cena is, especially because the guy is everywhere, and Roman Reigns is getting to that level as well. So that is my opinion as to why their ratings have dipped as low as they have, because they don't have those three top names that bring in that casual fan who maybe doesn't watch wrestling every single week, but will watch if John Cena's on TV or if Brock Lesnar's on TV. So that is my hot take. WWE needs Roman Reigns, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar back on television. So normally this next segment would have been before the hot take, but I wanted to save it for last here because it goes right along with the what I've got coming up at the end of the show. This is where I get to play kind of armchair promoter and have a little bit of fun. And I'm talking about the Fantasy Booker. So this week on the Fantasy Booker, I'm actually, it's more of a prediction for a match that I think is going to happen in hopefully in the next few months, and that is Kylie Rae versus Tessa Blanchard for the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship. Now, Kylie Rae is going to be wrestling Ray Lynn at Warrior Wrestling Friday Night Lights coming up this Friday, and I'll get into that card in a little bit here, but that match is for the number one contendership for the Warrior Wrestling Women's title, which is currently held by Tessa Blanchard. So I'm basically predicting that Kylie's probably going to win that match, and it will be Kylie and Tessa for the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship, which is a match I cannot wait to see. And because it is Warrior Wrestling, I will be there. I will be doing the live broadcast, the live play-by-play. It's a match I cannot wait to call in person. So that is my fantasy booker for this week. Kylie Rae versus Tessa Blanchard for the Warrior Wrestling Women's Championship. Now, before I sign off for the week, I just mentioned about Warrior Wrestling Friday Night Lights coming up this Friday at 8 p.m. Central Time, and it will be taking place at Marian Catholic High School here in Chicago in the football stadium outside, and they have an amazing card lined up for this one, starting off with the match I just talked about, Kylie Rae versus Ray Lynn for the number one contendership for the Women's Championship, and that match is sponsored by Catch, Hook, and Shoot. Very, very proud to be a part of that one. And then we are going to see Brian Cage taking on Jeff Cobb. That is going to be a confrontation that I'm going to enjoy. We have the Rascals taking on Zane, Carter, and Christian. That is going to be an insane match. That one is going to be hard to keep up with, but I will do my best. Then Brian Pillman will be defending the Warrior Wrestling Championship against the Ego, Robert Anthony. Of course, in Anthony's corner, as always, unfortunately, will be Frank the Clown. So hopefully Pillman can, do something to counteract Frank so he can retain the Warrior Wrestling Championship. And then we have Jake Something taking on Joey Janela. When that one was announced that Joey Janela would be making an appearance at Warrior, that is huge. This is going to be a crazy match with these two guys as well, and I'm a little worried about my own safety in that one, because Joey Janela, he will use pretty much anything at his disposal in the course of a match. So I'm not 100% certain where I'm going to be set up in relation to the ring, but when you're talking about Janela, it really doesn't matter how close you are to the ring. If he's in your area, there's a likelihood that he's going to he's going to be doing something crazy. So, Janela versus Jake Something should be an interesting match. Then we've got another match between just two behemoths in Lance Archer versus Sam Adonis. I cannot wait to see this one. And then Isaias Velasquez taking on Trey Lamar. If you guys heard me talking to Steve Tortorello, the promoter for Warrior, last week, Like I said, I'm not familiar with these two guys, but my rule is if they're wrestling at Warrior, they've got to be good. So I'm very curious to see this match with these two guys. And then finally, we have what they're calling the Spartan Stadium Stampede Scramble, which I have no clue what it is, don't know what the rules are, don't know how you win, but there's 10 people involved in it. Warhorse, Dan the Dad, Beastman, Matt Nix, Nacho Clown, Cypher, Gabaldi, the Cornbelt Cowboy, Elena Black, and Davey Bang. So I don't know what to make of this one. Again, I'm a little fearful for my own safety in this one, depending on how close I am to it. And yeah, I have a feeling this one's going to be all over the stadium, so it should be a good time. But Warrior Wrestling is I've said many times, Warrior, in my opinion, the best independent promotion out there. And yes, I'm biased. It's what I consider my home promotion here in the Chicago area. But yeah, it's always a great time. They always put on a fantastic show. They get top level talent from all over the world, and this show's going to be no different. It's going to be amazing. Like I said, Marian Catholic High School in Chicago Heights. The Fan Fest starts at 6 p.m. for fans to come out and meet the wrestlers, socially distanced, of course, but you can still get autographs, pictures, and things like that. And the match card starts at 8 p.m. Central Time, and we will be broadcasting that live on the Podbean app. It's already scheduled, so if you don't have the Podbean app, download it, and I've got the links to it are up on all the social media for the show, and download it, check out the show, listen to the play-by-play. It's going to be a great time. Me and Charlie G on the call, and it's going to be awesome. Warrior Wrestling always is. So that is going to wrap things up for me this week, and again, thank you to Warrior Wrestling for the opportunity to do commentary for their shows and broadcast it live, because it's a blast. I love doing it. I am by no means a professional journalist or anything, but I love being able to call these matches live and broadcast it for everybody to hear. So with that, I'm going to wrap things up. Hope everybody has a great week. If you don't have your tickets to Warrior Wrestling on Friday yet, what are you waiting for? Go to warriorwrestling.net, pick them up, and make sure you're following the show on social media and all platforms. It's at Catch Hook Shoot. Thank you to everybody for listening, watching, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, and all the podcasting platforms. Head to ProWrestlingTees.com/CatchHookShoot for your t-shirt needs, as well as CatchHookShoot.BigCartel.com for merchandise you can't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. Patreon.com/CatchHookShoot for your bonus content. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. I want to thank everybody for listening. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up, and I will talk to you guys soon.